Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
We don't just talk about impact, we ignite it.
We ignite it.
I love that intro.
Good, because, I wrote it and we're using it often. I love what you're doing.
I've got mosquitoes in my office upstairs. I don't know how this happened, but it's happening. They're everywhere.
They're coming in from somewhere. They're so fun.
About that time. Talk about an energy drain. Look, I got it.
Yeah. Get that blood-sucking vampire.
I have a pile of these things. It's disgusting. All right.
Collecting them. I love it.
Little energy vampires, man. That's what that is.
They really are. And I panic about them too.
Speaking of energy vampires, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he was out to lunch Sunday. So, on the weekend, he was out to lunch and his ex-girlfriend walks in. Then they broke up about a year ago, and she's not from that town. She doesn't live there. It's like an hour away. And he was like, wow, this is interesting. And he brought up the word energy vampire. And I was like, well, how do you keep a boundary with that? Like, you're out to lunch, you're in your hometown. She's like 4 towns away. She rolls in. Your friends are there. She's with a new guy type of thing, and we were just chatting about it, and we were talking about the removing yourself from those vampires, and how do you walk away from that conversation? And it doesn't need to be an ex, right? Like, this can be a random person at a networking event. This can be you're at a retreat, you're in a small circle, and there's just one person that just doesn't align, right? Like,
yesterday I was with a client, and it was her client before me that just wouldn't leave. And she's like, I feel so bad, but I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, she obviously needs a friend, because she just wouldn't stop talking. And especially when the next client's there, it would be nice to wrap up and have you leave. And so I totally get that, because it happens with clients too. I felt so bad for her because I didn't know what advice to give her, because I am one of those people that's like the yes person too. I don't want to disappoint you, but then I'm messing up the next person that I'm supposed to see. Right. So literally, what do you do?
So that situation, let's jump into yours, because it's a little bit more business related rather than, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, spouse issues, stuff, whatever. Right. But in that situation, you want to deliver news that's uncomfortable. You want to deliver news that is a change in the scenery, or someone needs to go or whatnot. Every single time I've been in those sticky, weird, awkward, what do I say, what do I do situations, I just lead with love, meaning maybe that's a new client. Maybe you're not on hugging terms with them, but maybe you go in for the hug, right? Maybe it's hey, thanks so much. It was so great to see you. You're giving them a hug, and then you're walking out. But I also know, because I've done this a lot, especially in the corporate world, when you reprimand someone or you give them a written warning, they never want to leave, because they just want to keep telling you all the things of why they're not that person, or why they're better, or why they didn't deserve it. Or, right. So they just keep going, even though they just trying to jump from point to point to make themselves feel better about the situation. So I've seen it a lot. And in the work setting where I wouldn't typically give a supervisor a hug. I in that role where I was, it was more me and the managers were a little bit more closer, right? The supervisor, that would be a little awkward. I don't have a deep relationship with them. But I would just get up and I would just give them a handshake. I'd just tell them something positive, like, I'm so excited we got through this conversation, excited to see what you're going to do, and I'm here to help. And I'll put my hand on their shoulder and I'll start to walk towards the exit. it's something where I think touch, again, doesn't need to be a hug, but like, how can I just love on that person and get them to know, like, I'm not kicking them out the door, I'm not pushing them out, right? But we do need to get to step in here. Like, we got some things going on, like
to get to step in.
I know
Okay,
I feel.
that's it. Okay, that's the physical in-person scenario. But what about the Zoom scenario or the phone scenario where like you've got back-to-back consulting gigs, right? Because a lot of times during the day are the phone calls or the meetings. And now the person's asking more and more questions. They want more from you, especially when we
Yeah.
do those like consultations that are not paid generally, right? We're like consulting to get into the business part, but that vampire is literally trying to suck as much information out of you so they don't have to pay you. How do you handle that situation? And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think for me, it comes down to knowing what the meeting's about. So, for instance, using your calendar and setting it up, it's like, okay, this person just wants to connect. They don't want to buy anything from me. They don't want to hire me.
But how do you get out of it? Right. So like
So
now you're there, you've been sucked dry. You have another,
you got to get ahead of
conversation
it.
coming up. How do you
Mosquitoes everywhere, man.
how do you get ahead of that then? Like so you just set it up in the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah. So starting with the calendar, right? It's like, okay, I know exactly why we're meeting now, which is fine. A lot of people just want to connect and they can become clients, right? Like they may not just want to jump in bed with you. They may want to connect, see who you are, what you're about, get a flavor, get a tone, get a style, get a taste. I think that's completely fine. I mean, that's how we connect with people. That's how we meet people, right? That's how we impress people or discern people. Whenever I get on those calls, I set the expectation of time in the first sentence. So like, hey, I'm really excited to chat with you for the next 30 minutes. We're going to have this jam-packed 30 minutes. I'm here, I'm present. Let me put my phone away. I do have another meeting right after this, but like, let's dial in. Let's jump right in because I do only have 30 minutes. I'm always referencing the amount of time in the first couple minutes of the meeting because here's the other thing. I've been on calls where it's an hour. I'm really excited to meet with someone. I've planned an hour. I've got a ton to talk about. And then they're like at the 29-minute mark, they're like, all right, thanks. I got to run. And it's like, oh, we booked an hour. You accepted an hour. Like it's on my calendar. Oh, in your idea of this meeting was a 30-minute meeting. So I just want to set the expectation right up front, right? And I will also do this when I randomly call people. If I know someone's a chatty Cathy, I'll call someone and say, hey, I had 10 minutes before my next meeting. I just wanted to check in and give you a call. Is it cool to chat for 10 minutes? I'm already setting the time limit in the beginning of the conversation. So it's easier for me to exit out of it, knowing that it's like, oh, man, that was a quick 10 minutes. I'm glad I called. I'm glad we got to catch up before this meeting. And I'm glad you had the opportunity to pick up. Is it cool if I send you a calendar? Maybe we do a 30-minute scheduled meeting. I know I just randomly called you and I did have this meeting, but I'm glad that I got to squeeze it in. We got to connect before I jump into the rest of my crazy day.
Okay. Question in this vein. What do you do for the person that continuously puts themselves on your calendar for that like 15-minute consultation? And it's like, no, like that was one time. And now we move into a different tier. Do you bump them? Because that is an energy vampire, somebody that consistently comes back and just wants more. Do you bump them off your calendar and then send an email? Do you reach out via text? Like, how do you explain, like, you can't just like connect a bunch of 15-minute freebie consultations and have that be literally what a paid session would be. You understand what I'm saying, right? Like, the person that keeps putting them back on your calendar consistently.
So I had someone, the conference we did in October, I had someone who just text me, call me, get on my calendar. And so I started asking, like, what's the purpose of us meeting? And her response was, well, I'm not sure. You sent me a calendar link. So I just had to address it and say, that calendar link was specifically to connect with you last time to see if you needed to hire me for any of my services. That's not a consultation calendar link. It's a discovery sales call. So I just had to address what that 15-minute meeting link was. And then I would reschedule. Like I would just say, if someone doesn't get it and you like, just cancel the meeting and do it ahead of time and then not reschedule it. I think that's a little bit more shitty for them to feel. So I'd rather address it right up front. Hey, this isn't a 15-minute like link to just connect. This is a 15-minute sales call. And actually, when I said that to that woman, she was interested and did buy the replay of the event. Like she did purchase something. She didn't want to get coaching, or she didn't have the funds. That's actually a better way to say it. She didn't have any money. And I knew that, right? Like she was really tough to get into the conference. I think I gave her a discount like a day after we ran a flash sale because she was like, I really want to go and it's tight on money and I missed the thing, right? So I'm like, okay, here's the, $100 off. You did miss the thing. But when I realized that I think it depends on the confidence you have on how you treat that human, right? Like are you an asshole to that person? Then you're going to feel guilty and you're going to feel shameful about maybe having a conversation that's a little bit tougher, right? But where I gave that person the discount the day after they missed the deadline, and I typically don't do that stuff, right? Like a deadline to me is a deadline. I'm not the person who says, hey, it's $100 off tonight, and then I don't shut the code off at midnight. Like I actually am the person who shuts the code off at midnight. I don't like to bullshit people, create fake scarcity. Like I hate that stuff. But knowing that I was confident in how I've treated them, I just wanted to be a little bit more direct with them. And that conversation went okay. I think the other thing too to think about is, this is where I struggle actually. And now that I'm thinking about it, I have a situation that just popped up yesterday. Someone's been nice to me. I've been nice to them. We're cordial. They keep wanting something from me. Like they keep wanting an opportunity and to speak on a stage and to get paid and to do all these things. And I just don't have that opportunity. So I had to tell that person, like, I'm going to reach out to you when I feel it's most aligned and fit. That person did not respect my boundaries. They continued to text. They continued to reach out. They continued to holler at me, which is fine. But I've been very nice. I've been very cordial. I've done the things. I've said the things. I've put my boundaries up. They just continue to keep being broken. So at that point, like, this is where I don't know what to do, right? Like, I don't know how much. It's more energy for me to prepare to have another conversation, knowing I've had 2 or 3 of them. I probably am just going to block that person at this point.
And that sucks that you have to even get to that point. I feel like, and that's the whole point of energy vampires, is it's literally sucking the life out of you. And at a certain point in time, we create the boundaries, then we have the conversation, and then it's consistently broken at a certain point in time. It's going to have to just be blocking. I know that I'm a good person and I have confidence in that. And I don't want to just ignore someone, but I have to. Like, I don't have I can't keep having the same conversation. And quite honestly, it's not even that I'm mad at that person. I think they really have they have no awareness. Right. Well, there's a difference. I used to tell the interns there's a difference between like persistence when you're reaching out to people trying to get a job, and then straight up annoyance. And you know this, you've hired people. Same with me. When you're in that situation, like, persistent is one thing, but when you're straight up annoying the F out of me, I'm just going to not even hire you because I want nothing to do with that. Right. And so you have to sort of know where the line is. And if they don't have that like emotional intelligence to understand, like, hey, you're stepping over a boundary, it just sucks, because when you have a small business, anyone could be a lead to something, but I also don't want to look at people as leads. right? I want to go back to what you always say, which is like, no, let's make that human connection. And when you've tried to make that human connection, and by being human saying, I have boundaries, and you're crossing one of them, and they continue to do it, it just puts us in that weird position now to have that like confrontation. And I'm
I
always
don't,
like, I hate confrontation, but I don't know why. Like, I have to get over that limiting belief too. Does that make sense?
I think confrontation is something that you can't escape in life. So why not try to understand it, address it, and do it in a way that makes you feel best? I think that's the struggle with most of us is the traumas of conflict, the traumas of those conversations. We've all had that, try to have the conversation with someone and they fly off the handle. We've tried probably to have that conversation with a narcissist, which a malignant narcissist is just, they don't even understand it, right? Like we've all probably tried to have those conversations and they didn't go well. I think that's the scars we have to kind of get over. Like for me, that person, like I wouldn't work with that person ever. And I wouldn't be friends with them. I'd be cordial and nice, but like we just don't align. Like I don't want that person in my life, not only to because they rip my energy, but like I don't want to put that person in front of you, Rachel. Like I don't want that person at an event. If they're gonna do that to me, who else are they doing that to? Right. So like there's a level of protecting my energy, but there's also a level of protecting my network. There's a level of protecting the people that I'm around as well, because you know that type of person. That person's going to walk into a room and be like, oh, how do you know Jim? We are best friends. We did this. We did X, Y, Z. And that's not the case, right? Like that's not the case. So they're going to leverage me knowing how bad they want to get in that room or be in that stage or be in that area of life. And I just think that that's the hard part. I am in a season where if I can look in the mirror and say, I tried, I put effort, I feel content with doing the right thing. It didn't work, or it didn't get recognized, or they skipped over it. Like I am in a season of I put my effort in and I'm done. Like I'm just done. Right.
I'm proud of you for getting there though, because I think it takes us a lot to get there usually. But I feel like as I age, I care less and less about other people's feelings because I've noticed how it impacts like my mental health and my physical health. And so like boundaries are important. Having those conversations with energy vampires is important. And I think what I've had to flip to is just being the observer in the conversation, right? Still having the conversation, but observing what's happening and not getting so emotionally attached or invested into their reaction, right? Number one, I can't assume how they're going to react to the situation. And number two, I have to protect my peace. So I can't avoid these hard conversations anymore.
It's funny you say that as you got older, you're more like that. I'm actually the opposite of that. So in my young days, I didn't give a F, man. Like, and I'm not proud of that, but like, I really didn't care about other people's emotions or feelings. Like, it was like, this doesn't serve me. I'm out. Abruptly, ignorantly, like I said, like, I'm not proud of it. But then I went into this stage of like the opposite, right? And I think that's like having kids. I wanted to lean more into my feminine. I wanted to lean more into my heart. I wanted to break the mold that was like not allowing me to tap in because I wasn't for so long. And I overdid it actually. So now I'm in that world of like protection and balance and appropriation of like, where do I want to be? How do I want to spend my time? And who do I want to spend it with? And I think it's something of beauty because I've seen both sides. Like I've not given an F. I've given an F too much about problems that are unrelated to me or people that I can't control. And that's beat me up too. Right. And now I'm kind of in that middle. And I think it's just the seasons of life, but I like the middle because I'm not doing things I don't want to do. And the things that I am doing are with the people I want to do them with. And I think that is actually the definition of life, doing the things you love with the people you love.
I love that. And I
How
think
can we do that all the time? You know?
right. Well, and like no is a complete sentence if someone's asking you to do something you don't want to do. So today's challenge really is
Whoa, what did you just say? Whoa, 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 whoa. We could not skip over that one. Actually, you know what? Let's
this
talk
is its
about
own Rise and Energize.
let's talk about that one tomorrow morning. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So it's for today's challenge, honestly, identify those energy vampires. They are in your life, whether it's personal, business, they exist everywhere. It is okay to set a boundary. It is okay to have that confrontational conversation of like, hey, this isn't working for me. And it's really protecting your peace because you burning out physically, mentally isn't going to help anybody. And if that's being caused by somebody else's energy, it's okay to point that out. And it's okay to say, this is a boundary. Please don't cross it. And if they do cross it, you're going to do what Jim's going to do. And you're just going to ghost them. You're going to unfriend them and block them. And that's okay too. Oh my God. Have an amazing day, everybody.